Hello there, I'm Callum Johns and welcome to 5 things that would make me not buy the KotOR Remake. I was thinking about this and someone asked, what changes would I put up with and what would I not put up with this KotOR Remake that is coming out? So I thought, why not do 5 things that are changes that I wouldn't put up with, and 5 things that they could do really well, which will be my other video later on. But first of all, these things that will stop me buying the KotOR Remake. Now, a lot of it does depend on execution, so while some of this may be in effect, it also depends on how they actually execute it in the game. These aren't in any particular order. This is just the order that I wrote them in on my notes. The number 1 is changes to character personalities. This means Bastila should be lecturing you on the light side when you're choosing dark side options. This means Karth should not want to talk about it. And all of the stuff that people that have played KotOR before already know the characters and know how they act. And so they really shouldn't be changing any of the characters to the extent that they feel like different characters. HK47 should be exterminating with extreme prejudice and calling us meatbags. So yes, the first one is character personalities should not be changing in the KotOR Remake. Number 2, changes to the lightsaber crystals. This might be a little bit nitpicky, but I feel like it's an important part of the KotOR experience. I want to go into caves, pick up lightsaber crystals, and then be able to swap them out at the modification workbench, or even if they change it up to you can modify them on the go. Hey, I won't say no to that. You can put in the different lightsaber crystals into the lightsaber to change color. Instead of, say, we're gonna meditate on it and change the color. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why? Well, the why would be because it appeals to a modern audience. You could put in new canon-like changes, but I'll get onto that a little bit later. Number 3 is writing that bashes you over the head with what feels like an agenda and kind of ruins my immersion. A sub-note on this is actually also probably unlocking all romances for every single character, because I don't think that would be in character. I can understand them unlocking some a bit more maybe, but I don't think every single character should be bisexual, basically. Just for representation and what you want to put into the game. For example, the 2 that I really don't think they should do that with is Bastila, because her romance hinges on what the actual canon story of Revan is. And I think Jolie will be really weird for the age gap between Revan and Jolie. It's like, don't put us through that, please. I mean, I guess the option could be there, but I would never take that option. That could be a personal thing, but yeah. Writing that bashes me over the head like an agenda is stuff like if they just blatantly write in, represent women, represent whatever, and that would ruin my immersion because the focus is the story. Not, oh, we want to have some person coming up and being, you have to think about this agenda and this political thing that is a thing on social media that I see more than real life. Number 4, character models that don't line up with the characters' personalities. That they're so vastly different from the original game that they're unrecognizable as the characters that they were. For example, if you have Pixie Cut Bastila, it'll be like, what? Why? Why would she put her hair like that? Or long-haired Karth. It's like, that makes no sense for him, especially coming from a military background. long hair would just get in the way for him. There would be no sense to that. So I think that hair was the easiest examples to think of when I was writing these down. But I think that very much also facial structure and stuff, you want to still recognize the characters, obviously. And number 5, my biggest one actually, I did leave the biggest one to last, is changes in dialogue and writing that create continuity mistakes with the surrounding expanded universe material. I think that that's a big thing I don't need to explain too much about, but I would also love them to preserve information, bits of information as we go through. For example, we meet the Twi'lek vendor when we get out of the hideout in Taris. He explains how energy shields are new, high-tech, and top of the line, and also Karth mentions about how that's why they train the Republic in melee combat, which makes melee combat for normal combatants a valid option, because they don't have the blasters to be able to punch through the energy shields. Little pieces of information like that to be able to have world building and also establish this is the current level of technology we're at as something that really, really is important to me to preserve. Especially since it's part of the game, right? It's part of the world building, part of all the little bits of information that go in. Also, I sort of have a bonus 6th one, because not all of the voice actors can return and they're re-recording the lines for the voice actors. Voices not really matching the characters or sounding so different that it hurts is just one of the things that'll be like, oh, I just can't deal with it because I've become so familiar with the voices that were. I understand them needing new voice actors, but please make sure they sound like they fit the role. And I guess my end idea that would be my overarching problem with the game, this is sort of a semi-7th one but also a through line for the whole thing, is they just remake Knights of the Old Republic without taking in any of the surrounding expanded universe material. This means that they don't factor in some things that could make it great in connecting it to other expanded universe material, plus they give them free reign to appeal to modern audiences because modern audiences want new canon, right? Well, if they're saying that it's still not canon to the new canon, but they also are not beholden to any of the EU stuff that surrounds it or the lore that went into creating Knights of the Old Republic originally, they can make new canon-like changes, similar to what I said about the lightsaber crystals. And also whatever else they want to put in that just feels really off, and this also would create continuity mistakes with the expanded universe. And yes, they're mistakes, not errors, because an error becomes a mistake when you refuse to correct it. And they have plenty of lore to be able to go off of, to be able to understand the expanded universe and line it up right. But my big thing with it feeling like, oh, new canon stuff is in it, or they make new canon-like changes, as I'm calling it, is the whole thing of what I've noticed with some new expanded universe releases and how they've sort of acted as a medium for current management Lucasfilm to say, oh look, you liked this, we have it in the new canon now, why not check out new canon stuff? And I was like, I don't care, I like EU. It's fine for the people that enjoy that new canon stuff. Nothing against you, but I just don't like the vision that they currently have, because I've already established rules in the universe that put me off of it from what I have experienced. Yeah, those are the 5, 6 things, 7-ish. That's my things that would stop me from buying the KotOR Remake. Let me know if you have any other... Well, I guess I can mention. People have been making a big hoo-ha about this Sam Maggs, that's one of the writers, going to rewrite KotOR. I don't know her. I don't care what she puts on Twitter. The only thing that I've experienced that she's written and been involved in writing is one of the Spider-Man DLC, The City That Never Sleeps, when I looked at her IMDb and what she's done. So I don't really care about what she says outside of it. I care more about the product. But that also ties back to point 5 and point 3 with bashing you over the head with agenda stuff and rewriting dialogue and writing that causes continuity mistakes. I'm going to judge it off of the product rather than go, yeah, this person said stuff on Twitter I don't like. It's going to be bad. I'm just going to see. Although it is difficult, I will say, to not be skeptical of current management Lucasfilm with the way that they've had an attitude towards the EU that isn't really supportive of it. Anyway, I've rambled on that bit a bit much, I think. That's been my things that would stop me buying the KotOR Remake, even though I don't have a PS5 as well, so who knows when it comes to PC. And let me know what you think in the description. I'm interested in discussing it a bit more. Give me your thoughts on each point. I feel like maybe the lightsaber crystals come into different things that create continuity mistakes. 2 points to counterpart each other. But yeah, interested in hearing thoughts. So thank you guys for joining and watching. Hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts and the discussion. And I will see you next time. Eerie!